She don't see us? You see me?
Yes, I see you. You see me?
Hell yeah, I see you. Both of us sitting here looking like two big Barneys. We see each other.
Fans and loved ones are mourning the death of Philly rapper and influencer Mia Bennett, also known as Petty Levels. Her record label, Chosen One Records, announced her passing. 23-year-old Bennett had 1 million followers on Instagram and had just posted this picture 1 week ago. No word yet on a cause of death. We've reached out to law enforcement and her family for more information.
Mia Bennett's final message to her 1 million followers came with a single, cryptic word: fleeting. A haunting caption beneath images of her smiling, dressed in white, a glass of wine in hand. Just 48 hours later, on July 19, 2024, authorities were called to a location near Tampa International Airport, where they found the body of the 23-year-old rapper and social media star known as Petty Levels. There were no obvious wounds, no visible struggle, no warning signs, just a sudden and tragic end. How could someone whose life was on full display, filled with music, fame, and curated snapshots of joy, simply disappear without explanation? What drew her to that specific stretch of Florida pavement so close to the airport? And why that one word, fleeting, as if she somehow sensed her light was dimming, that everything around her was slipping away faster than anyone realized? Before diving deeper, tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Because what happened to Mia Bennett could happen anywhere. Welcome to True Crime's Venue, where we revisit cases that haunt communities long after the cameras leave. If you're new, hit subscribe and ring that bell. You won't want to miss what's next. Mia Armage Bennett came into the world on October 13, 2000, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a city whose influence would seep into every layer of her identity, shaping her creative voice and becoming the backdrop to a rise that would capture the internet's attention. Growing up immersed in Philly's rich and diverse musical legacy, surrounded by the echoes of icons like Meek Mill, The Roots, and Patti LaBelle, Mia unknowingly absorbed the cultural energy that would one day fuel her own artistry. But her journey into the limelight didn't begin behind a microphone or in a professional studio. Instead, it started in the hallways of her high school, where a spark of personality and creativity gave birth to what would become her defining brand, Petty Levels. During a 2019 interview, she shared how the alias came to life, laughing as she explained, "That's when I first came up with Petty Levels, and the whole Instagram came along. I love getting a rise out of people. I started putting that in rap videos, and girls who felt the same way, they took it and ran with it." She added that back when she was in 9th grade, she was constantly switching schools, which meant her following quickly spread across different neighborhoods. "Only like people around school and like from different hoods, 'cause I used to school hop," she said. "But once I started really popping, probably like making videos and stuff, that's when I had people from all over, like all different types of cities actually." What started as an inside joke shared among local teens quickly became a movement. Mia's content struck a relatable chord, especially among young women, blending everyday high school drama with humor and boldness. She used short video clips to call out relationship issues and poke fun at boys who crossed her or her friends, always with a flair that made her stand out. Her authenticity made it easy for people to connect with her. "At first, my followers were mostly from Philly," she recalled. "But once I started doing pop-up shows and producing more videos, my fan base grew to places all over, like all different kinds of cities." Her creative style didn't rely on careful planning or filtered aesthetics. Instead, she gave her followers raw, unfiltered glimpses of her life. Whether she was dancing in her bedroom, taste-testing food at local spots, or talking to her fans directly, the effect was always the same. People felt like they knew her. By 2018, just a couple of years after launching her page, Mia had gained hundreds of thousands of followers. But she wasn't content with just internet clout. With an expanding audience behind her, she shifted focus to music, releasing freestyle videos and original raps that showcased her natural rhythm, sharp delivery, and unfiltered voice. "I found my persona. I found what they love," she said, revealing her growing awareness of how to cultivate her brand and keep her audience engaged. Her mom, who had always supported her, encouraged Mia as she stepped deeper into the world of music. Her versatility became evident early. She could flow over sorrowful beats or hop onto playful tracks without missing a step. In one standout clip, she even performed over a beat inspired by "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," showing how she could turn any melody into her own creative playground. Then in 2020, Mia's break into the broader music world came when she featured with Lotto on Fredo Bang's song Freak. This track allowed her to reach audiences well beyond social media, and her confident, self-assured voice stood out instantly. From there, she continued building momentum, releasing her own songs like Malibu and Ain't It, and generating buzz around her name. Her video for Dads climbed past 4 million views on YouTube, showing that she wasn't just a passing trend, she could deliver hits that resonated. Her success caught the attention of Chosen One Records, a label that saw her star potential and signed her to their roster, giving her a platform to break into the mainstream rap scene. But music was only one piece of who Mia was. Her social media captured a lifestyle full of energy, curiosity, and boldness. She posted snapshots and videos from travels that took her across borders: Mexico, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, places where she didn't just visit but actively embraced adventure. Her skydiving videos captured her leaping from planes, fearless and laughing as she floated through the air. In Hawaii, she tackled surfing. In Colorado, she tried snowboarding. These weren't just vacation moments. They were part of a pattern that showed Mia was determined to squeeze every ounce of excitement out of life. She wasn't pretending for the camera, she was living. Around mid-2020, she dropped some behind-the-scenes images with rapper 30 Deep Grimy, teasing her growing network and suggesting that even bigger collaborations were on the horizon. She found herself embedded in a space that merged internet fame with music credibility, territory that only a few managed to hold. Even as her public image exploded, Mia kept close ties to her family. In June 2019, she posted a heartfelt picture with her brother and father, a rare moment that gave followers a glimpse of the people behind the persona. These connections seemed to provide stability as she navigated the chaos of rapid fame. By early 2024, Mia had built a brand that many only dreamed of: over 1 million Instagram followers, multiple successful singles, viral music videos, partnerships, and a distinct, recognizable voice in both online entertainment and music. Her transformation from a quick-witted high schooler to a respected artist and influencer was complete. And in that same 2019 interview where she first broke down the meaning behind petty levels, she made a bold prediction. Just know that petty levels will not just be an Instagram name. Sooner or later, it will be on billboards. It will be on your playlists. It will be on the radio. It will be everywhere you go. What she didn't know at the time was just how little time she would have to bring that vision to life. The final chapter of Mia's public journey began about 2 weeks before her death, unfolding through a series of Instagram posts that now feel heavy with hidden meaning. On July 5, 2024, she uploaded images from a recording studio back in Philadelphia, hinting at new music in the works. Her caption read, "Cooking up something special for y'all. Summer anthem loading." The response was immediate and excited. Her fans were ready. Then, on July 8th, she posted a short video as she boarded a plane. The geotag revealed she was flying out of Philadelphia International Airport, but she didn't mention where she was headed. What she did share in her stories that day was a cryptic note that read, "Sometimes you need to get away to find what you're looking for." It was subtle, but it hinted that something deeper might have been unfolding. 2 days later, the mystery of her destination was solved. Mia shared photos from Tampa, Florida. She appeared to be staying at a high-end hotel with a stunning view of Tampa Bay. The images showed her lounging by the pool, cocktail in hand, taking in the sunset. If anything was wrong, her posts gave no indication. Her energy seemed light, and her caption reflected that, "Tampa vibes got me feeling alive." But the question lingered, what exactly had brought her to Tampa? There were no concert announcements, no tagged collaborators, no obvious business moves posted to her stories. Some fans believed she might have been negotiating with a label. Others assumed it was a vacation or a spontaneous getaway. No one really knew. Whatever the real reason, it remains one of several unanswered questions surrounding her final days. On July 12th, Mia posted a photo of herself at a Tampa nightclub with a small group of people. None were tagged, and she didn't identify them in her caption, which simply read, "Nights we won't forget." This would be the last time other people appeared in her social media content. For the next few days, Mia's posting became sporadic, unusual for someone who typically shared content daily. On July 14th, she posted a single photo of the Tampa skyline at night with no caption. On July 15th, her Instagram remained silent. Then, on July 16th, she returned to social media with a selfie taken in what appeared to be her hotel room. The caption was unusually reflective. "Looking back at everything I've built, grateful for the journey." This post generated significant engagement, with many followers commenting on her introspective tone. July 17th marked Mia's final Instagram post, the one captioned simply, "Fleeting." The post contained 4 photos, one showing her in a white dress standing on a balcony overlooking Tampa Bay, another of her smiling while holding a glass of wine, a third showing a sunset over the water, and a final close-up of her face with an expression that many followers later described as peaceful or resigned. The word, "fleeting," struck many as an odd choice. It means lasting for a very short time, transient, ephemeral. Was she referring to her time in Tampa, the sunset, her career, her life? In retrospect, the word takes on an almost prophetic quality, but at the time, it didn't raise alarms among her followers, who simply commented on how beautiful she looked or asked when she'd be returning to Philadelphia. As if slowly, Percy describes how this one word after this post, Mia's digital footprint goes cold. No more Instagram stories, no TikTok videos, no tweets. The 24 hours between her final post and her death remain largely unaccounted for in the public record. What we do know comes from limited reports. According to hotel staff who later spoke to local news, Mia checked out of her hotel on the morning of July 18th. A rideshare driver reported picking up a woman matching Mia's description from the hotel and dropping her off near Tampa International Airport around 11 a.m. that day. However, there are no confirmed flight bookings in her name. The area where her body was discovered the following day is approximately half a mile from the airport, a somewhat isolated spot near a service road. How she ended up there, why she was in that specific location, and what happened during those final hours remain questions that investigators have yet to answer publicly. What do you think fleeting meant? Was it a coincidence, a reflection on life's temporary nature, or something more deliberate? Tell us your theory in the comments below. Your perspective might shed light on this puzzling case that continues to baffle both fans and authorities alike. The morning of July 19, 2024, began like any other summer day in Tampa. The Florida heat was already building by 7:30 a.m. when an airport maintenance worker made a shocking discovery while inspecting a drainage area near a service road approximately half a mile from Tampa International Airport's main terminal. The worker initially thought he'd found someone sleeping. He called out, received no response, and approached cautiously. What he found instead was the body of a young woman lying on her side, as if she had simply lain down to rest. There were no visible injuries, no signs of a struggle, and nothing to immediately suggest how she had died. The worker immediately called 911, and Tampa Police Department officers arrived within minutes, securing the scene with yellow crime scene tape that fluttered in the morning breeze. Detective Maria Sanchez, who would later become the lead investigator on the case, arrived shortly after the first responders. "We responded to a call about an unresponsive female near the airport," the Tampa Police Department stated in their initial press release. Upon arrival, officers confirmed the individual was deceased. The body had no identification on it, no purse, no wallet, no phone. However, the distinctive tattoos, including a small crown on her right wrist and the words, "Levels Up," across her collarbone, would soon help authorities identify her as Mia Bennett, known to her million-plus followers as Petty Levels. By mid-afternoon, after her fingerprints were processed through the system, her identity was confirmed. The news broke first on local Tampa stations before spreading like wildfire across social media platforms where Mia had built her fame. The initial police statement was notably sparse on details. The deceased has been identified as Mia Bennett, 23, of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The cause and manner of death are pending investigation by the Hillsborough County Medical Examiner's Office. At this time, there are no obvious signs of foul play. This last sentence, "no obvious signs of foul play," would become the focus of intense speculation in the days that followed. What exactly did that mean? No violence, no drugs, no suicide note? The police offered no clarification, citing the ongoing investigation. The medical examiner's office took custody of Mia's body that afternoon. Standard protocol in such cases includes toxicology screening, which typically takes weeks to complete. The preliminary autopsy, according to sources close to the investigation, revealed no immediate cause of death, no traumatic injuries, no obvious signs of drug overdose, no indications of a medical event like a heart attack or stroke. As news of Mia's death spread, her family in Philadelphia was thrust into both grief and the harsh spotlight of public attention. Her mother, Tanya Bennett, issued a brief statement through a family attorney. "We are devastated by the loss of our beautiful daughter, Mia. She was a bright light in our lives and in the lives of many others. We ask for privacy during this unimaginably difficult time as we grieve and await answers about what happened to our child." The family's plea for privacy went largely unheeded as fans, followers, and media outlets clamored for information. Within hours of the news breaking, Mia's Instagram following swelled by another 200,000 people, a macabre testament to how death often amplifies celebrity. In the information vacuum that followed, rumors flourished. Social media became a breeding ground for speculation, with amateur sleuths picking apart Mia's final posts for clues. Some claimed she had been murdered by a jealous ex-boyfriend, despite no evidence supporting this theory. Others suggested she had taken her own life, pointing to the fleeting caption as evidence of suicidal ideation. Still others proposed wild conspiracy theories involving the music industry, drug cartels, or human trafficking. The unusual circumstances fueled these rumors. Why was she alone near an airport? If she was planning to fly somewhere, why wasn't she inside the terminal? If she wasn't planning to fly, what brought her to that specific location? And perhaps most puzzling, where were her belongings? Tampa Police Department faced mounting pressure to provide answers. Detective Sanchez made a rare public statement 1 week after the discovery. "We understand the public interest in Ms. Bennett's case, but we must conduct a thorough investigation based on evidence, not speculation. We are actively pursuing all leads and awaiting critical laboratory results." The investigation faced several significant challenges. First, the location where Mia was found had no surveillance cameras. The nearest security footage came from the airport's perimeter, approximately a quarter-mile away. Second, without her phone, which has not been recovered, investigators couldn't easily trace her movements in the hours before her death. Third, the intense Florida heat accelerated decomposition, potentially compromising certain forensic evidence. Investigators interviewed hotel staff, rideshare drivers, and airport personnel. They obtained Mia's hotel room records and searched the room itself, though she had already checked out the day before her body was discovered. According to sources familiar with the investigation, no unusual items were found in the hotel room. The rideshare driver, who reportedly took Mia to the airport area on July 18th, was interviewed multiple times. He maintained that he dropped her off at the departures level of the main terminal, not near the service road where she was found. GPS records from the rideshare app confirmed the drop-off location at the terminal, creating another puzzling question. How and why did Mia travel from the main terminal to the isolated area where her body was discovered? As of today, nearly a year after her death, the investigation remains active but frustratingly inconclusive. The Hillsborough County Medical Examiner's Office has listed the cause and manner of death as pending while awaiting toxicology results. Tampa police continue to interview potential witnesses and analyze what limited evidence they have. Mia's phone remains missing, a critical piece of evidence that could potentially answer many questions about her final hours. Investigators have obtained her phone records, which show her last outgoing call was to a Philadelphia number associated with her mother at 9:17 p.m. on July 17, shortly after her final Instagram post. The call lasted just under 2 minutes. What was discussed in that conversation has not been made public. For now, the circumstances surrounding the death of one of social media's rising stars remain as cryptic as her final one-word caption, fleeting. As days pass without definitive answers in Mia Bennett's case, theories continue to multiply. Each possibility seems to address some aspects of her death while leaving others unexplained. Let's examine the most plausible explanations, the questions they raise, and the mysteries that persist regardless of which theory you believe. The first and perhaps most straightforward possibility is accidental death. Could Mia have taken medication or substances that resulted in an unexpected reaction? This might explain the lack of obvious trauma and the "no signs of foul play" statement from police. However, this theory doesn't address why she would be in that specific location near the airport service road, far from pedestrian areas. If she was impaired, how did she navigate to such an isolated spot? And where are her belongings, particularly her phone, which was practically an extension of her as a social media personality? One theory that continues to gain traction is that Mia may have chosen to end her own life. Supporters of this idea often reference the cryptic final caption she posted, just a single word, fleeting. It was short, heavy, and loaded with potential meaning, especially when viewed alongside a post made just one day earlier in which she reflected on, "Looking back at everything I've built." To some, that post reads like someone who was preparing to step away from the spotlight permanently. But for those who knew her, that theory doesn't align with the Mia they last interacted with. Friends insist that she was full of plans and hope for what was to come. They claim she was engaged in creative projects and that her energy, at least outwardly, didn't signal despair. No note was discovered, nothing that offered clarity or confirmation. And the location where her body was eventually found didn't strike investigators, or those who knew her, as a place someone would choose for such a final act. It was remote, disconnected, and strange. The lack of conclusive evidence and the setting of her death both muddle the plausibility of that scenario. Still, the word fleeting lingers, raising questions no one has yet been able to answer. A third possibility that continues to circulate despite official dismissals is the notion of foul play. Though local authorities have publicly stated there were no immediate signs of trauma or a crime, many observers remain skeptical. They question the possibility that she may have been harmed in ways that wouldn't leave visible evidence, perhaps through subtle means like toxins or suffocation, which might escape initial detection. Those who lean toward this theory ask a chilling set of questions. Who stood to gain from her sudden disappearance? Was there anyone she had fallen out with, whether in her personal life or in her budding professional world? Could disputes, jealousy, or even industry politics have created enemies in the shadows? The absence of personal belongings and the inexplicable location where she was discovered continue to deepen suspicions. How does someone end up so far from where they were last seen without their phone, luggage, or any clear signs of a struggle? But perhaps the most haunting aspect of this case remains the question of why she traveled to Tampa in the first place. Her digital footprint offers almost no clues. There were no publicized gigs, no tagged collaborators based in Florida, no meet and greets or partnerships to promote. Some fans have speculated she may have been entertaining a record deal or secret meetings related to her music career, but nothing concrete has surfaced. The theory becomes even more perplexing when one considers the geography of her final moments. She was dropped off by a rideshare driver at Tampa International Airport, clearly with the intent to travel somewhere. Yet her body was discovered nearly half a mile away, not inside the terminal or near the gates but by a back service road, an area not typically accessed by foot. Why would she leave the airport on foot at all? Was she intending to meet someone off the grid, away from surveillance and public view? Did something unsettling occur inside the terminal that prompted her to walk away? Each angle leads to a new set of uncertainties. Tied into this are the well-documented pressures of navigating the music industry, especially for someone like Mia, whose path to success wasn't conventional. She was straddling two worlds, that of a social media personality and a developing music artist, each carrying its own weight. The leap from internet stardom to industry legitimacy is steep and often ruthless. There were whispers in industry circles that Mia had been in the middle of delicate negotiations for a major deal, one that could have been a career-defining pivot. If these talks fell apart or if she was made promises that weren't kept, it's possible the fallout impacted her deeply. Was that what drew her to Tampa? Was she meeting an executive or attending an off-the-book session? Or did she go expecting opportunity and encounter betrayal instead? Less publicly explored, but potentially crucial, is the emotional cost of maintaining an online persona. The high-gloss image Mia projected to her fans, constant travel, photo-ready moments, infectious energy, masked the complex internal realities she may have faced. Former friends have quietly shared stories of Mia feeling pressured to keep up the petty levels brand, even when her spirit was low. One old classmate from Philly mentioned she often voiced the exhaustion of needing to live up to the expectations of millions, when sometimes she just wanted to turn it all off. The influencer grind, especially for women, comes with an unrelenting pressure to be interesting, likable, and perfect. And when success is built on public perception, even moments of vulnerability can feel risky to share. Was Mia battling this imbalance more severely than anyone realized? With the investigation dragging on, a web of unanswered questions remains. Chief among them, what happened in the 20 or so hours between her last known appearance at the airport and the grim discovery of her body? What data, if any, can be retrieved from her missing phone? Who did she contact in those final days? What was said during the brief phone call she made to her mother shortly before she vanished? Did she fly to Tampa solo, or was she supposed to meet someone upon arrival? If she intended to depart, where is the luggage she checked out of her hotel with? And when the toxicology report is finalized, will it bring any clarity, or just more ambiguity? The word, fleeting, now etched in collective memory, encapsulates the fragile nature of Mia Bennett's final days. The internet responded with an outpouring of grief, fans flooded her profile with heartbroken comments, fellow artists shared tributes, and her music surged across streaming platforms, a tragic reminder that success often arrives in full only after the artist is gone. For all her influence and reach, what she may have been enduring privately is still locked in silence. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to True Crimes Venue. Don't forget to also visit our well-curated playlist for more touching stories. We're committed to telling the stories that matter, not just to remember the victims, but to help others avoid a similar fate. Thank you, and see you in our next video.